Hi again. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Uh, can you mute this one? Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I
How's
can hear you
everything?
now. Well, I'm glad to be talking to you under better circumstances of your character not dying off. So,
You know,
yes,
you
dying
know,
off. But yeah, let's get this started. So, your backstory, I remember hearing it for the first time in 2015. My friend, big fan of music like I was. And she's just like, I'm a huge fan of Quincy. I'm like, oh, cool. Who's Quincy? And she's like, he was that guy in the movie Dope. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
uh,
I remember him.
that's funny.
And
I just watched it last night.
it's such a
It's
good
on Netflix.
movie.
It's on Netflix. So I gotta click it.
Yes,
Yeah.
way before its time. But she's just like, yeah. So like his dad's Albie Shore, but he also was raised by Sean Combs. And he was named after Quincy Jones. I'm like, why are you lying? I'm like, people just lie on the internet all the time about people. Like none of this happened.
Yeah.
And then it's obviously true. Did you feel a lot of pressure to do music considering your background?
Not at all. I feel like the way I grew up, and I say this proudly, I was the different one. I was with music being a passion of mine, I got to really study and like damn near become it before I partaked in it,
Yeah.
so to say. And I think that's the fun part about it because with me exploring off into so many different other things, I'm able to truly be myself in the music. Like I tell people all the time, because like it'll be one day I'll play a record for somebody and there'll be like a little melodic chill groove. And then next thing you know, I'll play them like a house music record, you know, and they be like, who's this for? I'm like, it's for me, like they thinking I'm like maybe writing for somebody, which I can't wait to start to do, in the future. I feel like I have a whole lot of just stashed up that, if it's not for me, it could be for somebody else. But, I was able to really, really, really still becoming myself, you know, while I'm learning, and it not be like something I'm signing up for and it feel like something is weighing on my back. I want everything I do feel like effortlessly and fun. And then you find out how to carve it and then make it work out for you. And that's like, creating, you know, income for yourself somehow out of these hobbies and passions. Sometimes, you do things that you love, but if you only doing it just because you love it and not for the bigger picture of how it could like elevate your career or better it, then I feel like, you'll fall short. So that's why with music, it's such an important piece to my puzzle, and there's no pressure felt. Of course, there's that, definitely want to, chart one day. Definitely, I got those goals set, but that's not really what it's about. I'm really just about the music. Like I am the I'll Be Sure, Diddy, Quincy Jones, kind of all in one towards the music. I love to produce, you know, just as much as I like to record and write. And that's not necessarily because I'm a genius on the keys or these instruments. No, but I bring people together. I know my ear is very, good. And, I'm proud of that as well. Having a great ear is a blessing. So I know what I want, more than anything. So it's fun. So the pressure is, I can breathe and take a deep breath. The pressure isn't there anymore. Of course, at first, but
For sure. And why did you decide to go by your name instead of what I really respect about you is that you don't, and there's nothing wrong with it because it's all true, but it's not like you went by Quincy Combs, Quincy Shore,
right,
Quincy
right,
Jr., that it is
right,
you're
right.
Quincy Brown, the actor, and then you're Quincy, the creator. Why did you decide to go by your actual name?
I think, more than anything, I like to feel connected to somebody, and I feel like first name basis is everything. Um, I never probably said this before, but why I really, really, honor my first name and put that out there is when I went to school in New York, it was a private school. And this was after I went to a public school, probably like kindergarten, first grade, whatever. So this was like second grade or so. And the teachers went by their first names
Oh,
in the school system. There was no Miss this, Mrs. that, Mr. No. It was straight the name. And you know, where I come from, the South, everything is, you know, Miss, even if it's their first name, Miss something or their last name, you know, it's just the respect. But it brought us closer to the teachers, even though I wasn't like too much of a fan of the private school way, you know, that small thing stuck with me forever. And I felt like I got closer to them, even though I really wasn't like getting to know them. They teaching me stuff, you know, of course, you're not really getting to know the teacher, you
yeah.
getting to know the assignments, you know, but then the first name basis kind of like brought you closer to the person, which, you know, I respected. And I felt like I carried, you know, even that sign of respect, you know, and I want to put that out to everybody, you know, and not as if it's a need to be, you know, formal and call me Mr. this or Mr. that, you know, I like to promote the first name basis. And then too, people be thinking Quincy is my stage name. Like it's crazy. A lot of people pull up on me and be like, "What's your real name?" And I'll be like, "Shit, I sorry to disappoint, but that's all I have. That's all I got."
For sure. And with your company being named Frequency, could you talk a little bit about that? Other obviously than the play on your name.
Yeah, for sure. Well, frequency is really getting everybody out that element, which is none other than like being themselves. You know, I promote being yourself. You know, I really see the strength and I see the power that comes, you know, even in collaboration, but once people are truly themselves, you know, and with frequency, that's kind of like getting everybody on that accord to like really turn that knob in themselves up a notch to maybe disconnect from what everybody else is on to channeling your own frequency. And what that is really housing up creatives, artists, anybody that just has creative touch, you know, technology, everything is like under that, what the future is umbrella. You know, so I'm creating the house of frequency. So I can, you know, find people like-minded like me, like talented like me, and ultimately put our forces together and create a new frequency. And I'm going to try to get a new term in the dictionary. So like Beyonce did, I'm trying to put frequincy as an alternate version of what frequency is actually. I have that power. I'm putting it out there. Yes, I am.
For sure. Because you release your music independently, you direct a lot of your videos. Why did you decide to go that independent route?
Not to say I'm scared of the labels and the business of it, but it is not all the way shaped, you know, for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I am a very unique, I guess, placement in the industry, so to say, just because I do so much and, you know, have family in the music already. So it's a, people even know, not too sure even how to receive me. And I got that by meeting with a lot of these labels and people like that. You know, because, you know, what I'm bringing to the table is an experience. What I'm bringing to the table is like a soundtrack, you know, to our lives. You know what I mean? I'm not here to make just straight crazy turn up music. You know, everything is almost just like like a puzzle piece, you know, just building, you know, perspectives, and sharing perspectives and find out where we relate, you know. And I feel like I don't want to take away from what truly I have to offer and bring to the table before it gets in the higher up hand. So I'm ready for a label when it is proper for my type of situation and vision. And, you know, I'm not opposed, you know, to great partnerships. I even have, plans to bring the House of Frequency, into a major label, to be able to operate the music side of it. Um, so yeah, it's some big things coming, with Frequency, and about, you know, who I'm signing, very, 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 very big announcement. But that's coming soon, just because Frequency is still actually, being built as the label. Right now, it's just, full blown Inc. Incorporated,
Yeah,
so I'm getting everything proper to really flesh out the vision.
for sure. And what's up with you and the color purple? I feel like it is like something that even in your earlier work, that purple has been kind of a color that has been like a thread throughout all of it. And it seems purposeful, or it could not be, but I've noticed it a lot.
Just like you said, seems purposeful, but it could not be as well. I feel like that's actually been what it was. Me not even realizing that that was like my mom's favorite color,
Oh,
but the way she was able to flex it wasn't like, bow, boom, purple in your face. Maybe sometimes, but it's more so like the subtleties and the
mhm.
details and, you know, certain things in her room. Like, uh, I'm looking at something, that was from her room right now, just these candle structures, but like they have these different shades of purple. So it almost is not like you're looking at purple, you're looking at all colors. And I
Yeah,
feel like that speaks to me in such a way because that's like how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't feel black or white or blue, or I feel like I feel in shades of purple. Just because I've locked into like a lot of these shades and none of them are even the darks,
mhm,
still have a vibrant, you know what I mean, calmness to it. And I feel like that's who I am as a person. And I came to realize that, as growth too, it's a spiritual side of it that I didn't know existed within purples, and really kind of taking that in and being able to express that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up that. And I feel like I'm gonna definitely carry it through a lot of what I do. Not to say like I'm the purple god and only gonna stay, not saying that, but however, I am gonna, give Prince a run for his money.
for sure. So you recently released Jetty. What was the inspiration behind that song and the video?
Yeah, Jetty. This is a fun one for me. Simply because this is one of my many characters of my music. Me turning onto the lyrical rap side of things. Um, and I see people still getting used to it, but I'm very specific, with my words and whatnot. So I feel like that's really kind of who I am I'm like a poet, you know, over the music. Um, I feel like rappers vague, what I mean, just because of the melodics and so many things you could do and with having fun. But I feel like this is another way to get through to people. And not everyone will get it. Eventually you will, but I can just even explain, my take on it right now. But I'm very misunderstood, in life. I think we all are,
Mhm.
but I'm very misunderstood just because people almost like paint a little picture of me at first, you know what I mean? And that's
Mhm.
okay. But when I either get to be around you or something, you have a whole different like partake on it. So that even goes with some things I say, what I mean? Just because if you already have a pre-thought of who I am, even certain things I say, you may take a different way than actually what I'm meaning it to be. So Jetty, it stems from a real experience. Um, and then of course I added some layers to it to really make it a movie. But when I say meet me at the Jetty, my lifestyle that I'm around, that I'm in, instantly you may think I'm talking about a private jet lifestyle, and actually I'm not. It's the furthest thing I'm actually referring to. Um, and so in the video, I'm having a conversation, with somebody who I want to catch up with, who I miss. And I want to do something spontaneous. It's not really a plan made, but it's like day of type. So I told her to meet me at the Jetty, and I'm actually trying to go to an actual Jetty, which is, I don't know. I have the definition somewhere because I pulled it up, but it's actually almost like the piece of land that goes off into the water. Sometimes it's rocks, sometimes it's a pier. So if you notice in the video, I'm actually at a jetty.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for this girl to meet me here. And she doesn't, because she didn't realize it was the jetty. So pretty much it's taking you kind of through, the misunderstanding of Q, but then setting the record straight as well of who I am. And not coming shy of that, of course, because I like to have fun, when I make music, especially rap. Like, you might even see me do a comedy album, dealing with rapping and singing, just fun, really just kind of embodying these characters, but myself in the music. The TV film shows, I'm different characters, not
Mhm.
Quincy. Quincy's playing it, but then with the music, I can actually be all the shades of who I am, which we all have these different sides of us. It's not just the Gemini that got the sides, it's all of us. It's all the signs. We just the leader, to kind of like promote that.
For sure. And Q side B side, that EP was a bit more R&B leaning. Um,
Mhm.
do you think R&B is dead?
I wouldn't call it dead, you know. I will say it's hibernating. It's still very much present. Um, and I say hibernating because it's the way the world and the industry is kind of like
Mhm.
shifted with the changes of things. So R&B hasn't been in demand, so therefore, things are gonna shift where demand is. And I feel like there just has to be a new kind of focus in what we can create demand in, and I feel like even today, if you look at relationships and stuff, they don't be lasting like back in the day. Things are just like so short-lived, and it all goes together. Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, all this goes together. So
Yeah.
you can't be mad at R&B. You got to be mad at, the, I don't even know the right word, but you got to be mad at everything and kind of like
Yeah.
shift everything, because everything will then create a demand that kind of like stems off of just love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it doesn't always have to be I'm in love with you. Breakup songs or R&B. It could be just songs about just spending time. It can be songs about just going on a date. Love is it's infinity.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So therefore, it ain't like we ran out of love songs. The fuck?
Yeah. But they're a bit harder when the most popular app and probably one of the most popular ways to discover music is a 15-second experience. And I don't think R&B can be compressed in that nature, for sure. It seems that you are very comfortable with being misunderstood and a bit odd in the best way possible. I consider myself to be very odd myself. Was this something you were always comfortable with, or did over time you grew to accept that this is just who you are?
I mean, I definitely want to pay my respects to my mom and my grandma and those who kind of like, used to see me like every day. They instilled that like, I'm a little different, and they couldn't even describe what they meant, and I felt like it was based off of a feeling, and it was based off of kind of like what I put out, so I was not understanding even what that was, but what that did was just make sure I didn't veer off nowhere else. It was like, look, whatever you're doing, we don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it.
Mhm.
So I feel like that ultimately is who Quincy is. Um, you know, and like I said, that's really what I want to promote, is just like peeling back our layers and collaborating, because I feel like we honestly make the world go round. So there's so many opportunities that just lie out there that sometimes we not taking that extra step to, go after to make happen. Nothing just happens. And I feel like sometimes we be feeling like that. Or we act like that. Like we think it or we see the problem and they'll take care of it, or and that's not how it works. So it's like music, R&B, that's what Q side, B side, being kind of like a little knock at the door. That's why it's doors,
Mm-hmm.
because we not the door ain't open yet for R&B, but
Yeah.
the presence is still there, the door is there. So it kind of also was my, I want to say like status, but it was almost like, all right, look, let me show my love for, because I'm ready to contribute. You know what I mean? Especially with a little body of work, but I'm still going to show you my versatility of who I am. I'm not trying to be the one responsible to bring it back. I want to be a contributor. It's a
For
difference.
sure. Speaking of contributing, are we going to get a tour anytime soon?
Shit, listen, I got some stuff I'm about to roll out, and I feel like when I have the proper like demand to do that, of course I could do a pop-up show in the city and stuff, but I really want to do it right. I really want to find out who my fans are. I feel like I still don't know where all of my fans exist. And I feel like with the music, I'm able to like grasp onto that a little more. And then I can route where I want to go. It's like it's okay to know that everywhere may not want you yet. So therefore, let's figure that out. I'm trying to work smarter, not harder, and let that be, kind of how I on take, doing shows and whatnot. But I have started, to slightly rehearse a bit, mess around to like, hey, what will my show look like now that I got, more music out, and stuff like that. Like, my show is an experience, it's like live, it's crowd interactions. I really wanted to be that, I'm not here just to put on an act, high and
Mm-hmm.
buy and leave, you know.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for talking to me again. We have to make this a regular thing when you have more
Friends
music.
now, we might as well hit the club.
For sure. So I can't wait to check in again on you soon. This was great. And I will talk to you soon. And best of luck on future projects. I gotta go listen to more Q side, B side.
Leave that. Thank you.
For
All right,
sure.
talk soon.
Awesome. Talk to you later. Okay. Bye.